Okay, we're back. Part 2. Back in action, back in black, because I'm always wearing black. It is the rock and roll color of clothing choice, or whichever way that works grammatically. Okay, so when we're doing this now, let's look at our next lick, which will probably be one of the more complicated ones. It's a kind of a fun one to play, in the style, like you mentioned, because you're watching Back to the Future, Torrin, Johnny Be Good, which I was very impressed by. So with this one, you're bending up using the G string, the same thing you did for the previous lick, but this time we're playing the B and the E string and we're hitting it twice after the bend. So it's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of interesting as a lick. It's bend, doot, doot, bend, doot, doot, bend, doot, do. So let me try that again for you really slowly. And ending just on that G string this time of the 7th fret. So if you were to do it really, really quickly in the style of like the Johnny Be Good, it's... And I may have muddled up one or two of the notes. Let me try again. That will take practice, and you can hear I'm still working on it myself. So it's something that you'll need to kind of go over and over and over and over again. Make sure that when you're doing those bends, you're using all 3 fingers together. And as soon as you come back down, you're hitting those 2 notes. And try to be as clear and as crisp and as clean as possible using those 2 little backwards notes there. The B and the E. Those ones are lovely. Okay, let's go on to the next lick now, really cracking into the business end of things with this solo. Now this one is a kind of creative lick, but it's easy when you learn it, a little bit hard at first. So now let me play that for you again, nice and slowly. Now this is interesting, Torrin. You can actually look at my guitar as I'm playing this. You can look at the fingerings, but you'll see I'm kind of doing this alternate pattern slightly where I'm kind of counting down on the strings and then going up a string and then going back down. So in this case, I'm going... And that pattern repeats itself all the way up the actual fretboard as long as you're hitting the right notes. So by that, on the high E string, I'm going 8, 5, but then I'm going 8 on the B string, and then back to the 5th fret on the E string. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you have a look at the way that the riff develops, it follows that exact same pattern. And you end on that 7th fret of the D string, using a bit of legato as you can. So again, let's look at it very, very slowly. Very interesting. I may have muddled up that last little bit, but it's quite a kind of difficult riff to play slowly or fast for that matter. Let me try again. That's the one. It's really weird. It's one of these riffs, it's hard to dissect. You kind of almost need to play it from the actual beginning part of the riff and kind of count up. So we can name the strings here if we want to. It's kind of going into it in some detail, but we're going 8, 5 on the E string, 8 on the B string, 5. Then the same thing here. We're going 8, 5 on the B string, then up 1 string, and then we're going to go back down again. 7th fret of the G string, back down to the B string like that, then the same thing again. And then when you finally resolve it, Torrin, you go 5, or I think it's kind of ending on that type of a note too. So we'll run this over in the lesson as well, because it's a bit of a tricky one to explain because it's so complex. Okay, fantastic. Now, again, the video is going to be super long, so let's split it up into 3 parts, because I talk a lot. Yeah. All right, come back to you with the 3rd part. Torrin, are you ready?